Welcome back. I've got Lieutenant Governor Sheila Simon joining me by phone tonight. Madam Lieutenant Governor, welcome back to the show. Always good to have you here.
Hey, Paul, how are you?
So I am great, and you're, of course, Springfield under the gun here, no pun intended, to get a concealed carry law developed by the end of June. You have now issued, through a work group, a series of 10 factors that you're hoping the legislature pays attention to. In an overall nutshell, what was the mission here of the work group?
The mission of the working group was to have a good conversation about concealed carry laws in the state of Illinois. You know, so many gun issues in our state, we start off at polar opposites, often based on geography, and then once we start talking, we just even get worse off. People wind up antagonizing each other. I wanted to get together the group of the freshmen senators and House members and say, let's learn about this. Let's set this up like a class where we can ask questions of people who know what they're talking about, where we can listen to citizens of Illinois.
Yeah, and I want to go through some of these. Of course, it looked like number one is, first of all, whatever you guys do, make it constitutional. Be sure it passes muster with the U.S. Supreme Court.
Right, and you know, you'd hope you wouldn't have to say that, but I think we do. And the Seventh Circuit has their interpretation of what our laws have to be, and until the Supreme Court addresses that and changes that, if that should happen at all, this is the law that we have to live up to. You
also want to make sure some basic qualifications. You're dealing with adults who have their proper ID cards.
And we want to make sure that that folks also do what's referred to in this area as a live fire, so that when you get your permit, it's after we've been reassured that you do know what a gun looks like and how to use it safely.
You also talk about funding. Obviously, it costs money to handle this kind of operation, so you want some funds put aside for that purpose.
Well, I would like this system to pay for itself because we don't have another source of money in the state. And from the gun owners that we've talked with, they understand that there's a cost in having a safe system that allows them to have that permit. And they're willing to pay those costs.
Now, you've also got, I'm just going to, for the sake of time, you talk about who you want to handle this and getting some local input, but I want to talk about background checks. They're having real trouble now on the national level trying to get background checks done. You want that done here.
Right. Well, we're talking about a permit to carry a loaded concealed firearm in the state of Illinois. We need to make sure that we don't give that permit to just everyone. We want to make sure that those are folks who are responsible, who have a record that shows that, and that's I think really the bottom line for keeping everyone safe.
You also want people to be properly trained.
And that again gets back to that live fire requirement and knowing how to use the weapons, knowing where and when. I think that's an important qualification, and different states have different laws. There are some states where you can get a concealed carry permit without ever having tried a gun.
And you want people to, of course, have permits if they lose them to be able to report it. That's most important. But you also deal with sensitive places, basically that we shouldn't be allowed to have these in private areas and that kind of thing. But here's my question. What about places like shopping centers? A lot of people think shopping centers are public places, but they're privately owned.
They're privately owned, and that's why one of our checklist points was to make sure that private property owners can make a determination about their property. And I think that's something that we should respect the property owner's wishes on.
So they can put a sign up that says you may not have a concealed weapon here.
Exactly.
And what would be the penalties for violations in any way?
Well, I think we'd have to have some violation penalties. We haven't thought through what they are. The checklist is a starting point to have a good conversation, and I have to say, I think it's worked that way. I think we have spurred some further conversation and some rational conversation rather than just talking points. It was
a bipartisan effort to make this happen. So does it give you hope that the legislature can now get their act together on this?
It does give me hope, I have to say. There's the rhetoric on this issue, and then there's what we heard from citizens across the state, whether they are family members grieving the loss of their child to gun violence or gun owners who want to be able to carry their weapon with them responsibly.
All right. Well, Madam Lieutenant Governor, sorry we're out of time. This time goes so fast. I want to thank you for your time with me doing this work.
Thank you, as always, Paul.
We'll see where it goes in Springfield. Thank you so much. I'm Paul.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
I'll see you tomorrow night for more Politics Tonight.